One day they act like you're their entire world. The next, they vanish. No explanation, no closure, just cold indifference, like you never even mattered. Sound familiar? If you've ever been discarded by a narcissist, you know exactly how brutal it feels. It's not just a breakup, it's psychological warfare. They don't just leave, they erase you. They move on as if your entire relationship was nothing more than a transaction. And the worst part? You're left wondering, was it me? Did I do something wrong? Why do they seem so happy while I'm drowning in pain? Here's the truth. The way a narcissist discards you has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. The sudden coldness, the way they seem to replace you overnight, it's all a calculated move to secure their next source of validation while leaving you in self-doubt. But what if you could flip the script? Today, we're breaking down why narcissists discard so cruelly and, more importantly, how to make them regret it. If you want the upper hand, stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll never see them the same way again. The biggest mistake people make after being discarded by a narcissist: taking it personally. It's natural to think, if only I had done something differently, maybe they wouldn't have left. But here's the hard truth. The discard isn't about you. It never was. A narcissist doesn't leave because you weren't good enough. They leave because their entire existence revolves around control, power, and validation. They don't see relationships the way emotionally healthy people do. For them, you were never a person. You were a supply, a source of attention, admiration, or resources. And once they feel they've drained everything from you, or they find someone newer or more exciting, they move on without hesitation. That's why their discard feels so cold. They aren't weighed down by emotions the way you are. Their empathy switch is off. Think of it like this. A narcissist is like a smartphone addict. The moment their current phone slows down or doesn't give them the same dopamine hit, they replace it with a newer model. No attachment, no guilt, just instant gratification. And here's the kicker. Many times, the discard isn't even real. They don't actually want to lose you completely. In their mind, you're just put on a shelf like an old toy they might come back to later if they get bored or need validation. This is why so many narcissists try to hoover their exes back into their lives after months or even years. So if you're sitting there wondering why they left you, stop. The better question is, why were they ever in your life to begin with? Narcissists aren't looking for love or connection. They're looking for control. And when they discard you, it's not about ending things. It's about keeping you emotionally hooked while they chase something new. And that's the most twisted part. The discard isn't meant to be final. It's meant to be devastating. They want you to feel abandoned. They want you to crave answers. Because the more confused you are, the more power they still have over you. But now that you understand why they discard so easily, let's go deeper. How do they justify it? And why do they seem so happy after cutting you off? Stick around, because the answer is even darker than you think. You've seen how brutally a narcissist can discard someone. But what's even more shocking? They actually believe they're justified in doing it. That's right. In their mind, they aren't the villain. You are. But how does a narcissist convince themselves that throwing you away like trash is completely acceptable? Here's how their twisted logic works. They reframe the narrative. A narcissist can't handle the idea that they are the problem. Their entire identity is built on being superior, flawless, and untouchable. So, when they discard you, they rewrite history to make themselves the victim. It's a psychological defense mechanism called cognitive dissonance. They twist reality to avoid facing the truth, that they're the toxic one. This is why, after the discard, they suddenly act like you never mattered. It's not that they forgot you, it's that they need to convince themselves you weren't worth it in the first place. They dehumanize you. Narcissists don't see people as equals, they see people as tools. And once a tool is no longer useful, it's discarded without hesitation. This is why their breakup feels so soulless. They've already mentally detached from you long before they physically leave. To them, relationships are transactional. Love isn't real. It's a game of control. And once you stop feeding their ego, they throw you away like an expired product. But here's the irony. The second they realize you don't need them anymore, they suddenly miss you. They need to prove they won. Ever notice how narcissists always seem happier than ever right after the discard? It's not real. It's all part of the performance. They need to convince themselves and everyone else that they made the right decision. This is why they show off their new relationship instantly. Post about how free and happy they are and act like you never even existed. It's not because they've truly moved on. It's because they're desperate to prove that they won and you lost. They tell themselves you'll come crawling back. Here's the part they don't tell you. They don't actually believe you're gone forever. In their mind, you're just another pawn in their game. They expect you to beg for closure, to check in, to stay stuck in the pain they created. And every time you reach out, they get exactly what they want. Proof that they still have control over you. But what if you don't play their game? What if, instead of chasing them, you did something that made them genuinely regret losing you? That's exactly what we're about to get into next. If you want to make a narcissist regret discarding you, here's what not to do. Beg for closure. They thrive on knowing you're still emotionally hooked. Try to prove your worth. They already know your value, they just don't want you to know it. Get revenge. Narcissists love drama. If you retaliate, you're just feeding their ego. So, what actually works? Here's the secret. The only way to make a narcissist regret losing you is to stop caring if they do. And I know that sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest things to do. Because when someone has manipulated you, made you feel unworthy, and then tossed you aside, your natural instinct is to prove them wrong. But that's exactly what they want. Instead, here's how you take back your power and make them question everything. Go completely. No contact, or at least low contact. Nothing drives a narcissist crazier than being ignored. They expect you to react, check in, or keep them in your orbit. But when you disappear, when you don't text, don't ask for answers, don't even acknowledge their existence, it terrifies them. Because in their mind, they're the star of your world. The second they realize they've lost control of your emotions, the regret starts creeping in. Stop seeking validation from them. A narcissist wants you to feel like they're the only source of love, approval, and self-worth in your life. So when you start rebuilding your confidence without them, when you stop checking their social media, when you stop wondering if they'll come back, they start losing their grip on you. And nothing messes with a narcissist more than seeing someone they discarded thriving without them. Level up your life, for yourself, not for them. A lot of people try to show off to a narcissist, posting about new relationships, flaunting success, but that still gives the narcissist power. The real power move? Genuinely moving on. That means building the life you want. Finding joy in things that have nothing to do with them. Becoming so secure in yourself that their regret doesn't even matter. And that's when the regret hits them the hardest. Because a narcissist doesn't miss you, they miss the control they had over you. And when they see that you've broken free, that you don't need them, that you've become untouchable, that's when they realize they lost the best thing they ever had. At the end of the day, making a narcissist regret losing you isn't about them, it's about you. Because the truth is, you don't need their regret. What you need is your freedom. Freedom from their manipulation. Freedom from the self-doubt they planted in your mind. Freedom to rebuild a life where you're in control. A narcissist discards you because they expect you to chase them. They expect you to crave their validation. But when you choose yourself instead, when you walk away, heal, and thrive, that's the ultimate power move. They didn't discard you because you weren't enough. They discarded you because you saw through them. And now, you're untouchable. So if you take one thing from this video, let it be this. Your healing is their biggest regret. Not because you played their game, but because you became someone they can never manipulate again. And that's how you win. If this video resonated with you, hit like and subscribe for more content on breaking free from toxic relationships. Drop a comment if you've experienced this. I'd love to hear your story. Stay strong, stay empowered, and remember, you were always enough.